It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
DJ, PK, and Bob Casper joins us now from Real Golf Radio to talk PGA Championship. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. Good morning. Hey, when the show ended yesterday, Thursday, Locke and I were out at his desk talking about today's show and probably about, scheduling your greatness and what time would be great to have you on. And a graphic went up on the TV right next to us, and CBS Sports did this thing about Scotty Scheffler, and he averages a 70 on Thursday, and they got his strokes per round, right? And the number dips to 67 on Saturday and Sunday. And then they compared it to what the rest of the tour does, and he's ranked 77th on Thursday. Yeah, and then you get to the weekend, and he's number one with a bullet, right? So when I saw him shoot a 3-under on the opening day, I thought, oh, boy, they're supposed to be getting him on Thursday, get a lead, and see if he can hold him off. And he's right there. And all that logic went out the window when he went out and bogeyed 10 and 12 today. He started early, and he started on the back 9, and he's now 1 under and 2 off the pace. What do you think of that trend? Was that just a nice graphic? Do you think that really matters in the tournament? And what do you think of the slow start today? Does it really matter as just a little blip for Scheffler?
Well, and he just bogeyed 13 too, so he's 3 over, even par for the tournament. All the data is good, but the guy's got to go out and play. The golf course has changed quite a bit today. Wind is coming from an opposite direction from what it was yesterday, so guys have to adapt and adjust. And Scotty will do that. It's just that he's gotten off to a horrible start so far. And, now he's thinking, let's get it back to even par for the day and go on to the weekend because that's where he shines.
With him fading for right now, of the other guys who are 3 under, who do you trust? Because there's a lot of names there people don't recognize, but sometimes you know about up-and-coming golfers, and maybe you trust them a little more, even though we don't because we don't know their names.
Well, it's kind of interesting because all the guys that are at 3 under par right now don't have any majors under their belt and a lot of experience in winning a major. However, having said that, the PGA Championship is known for producing first-time winners of majors and kind of guys that come a little bit out of obscurity as far as what you would think one of the top guys or the elite players winning the championship. But, Patrick Reed's right there. He's at 2 under par. He's won the Masters. A guy that you've got to kind of look at that's a really good player that's won a few times on the PGA Tour and he's yet to win a major is Minwoo Lee. Mm-hmm. He's at 3 under par. He doesn't play till the afternoon, but it's kind of interesting to see what's happening and how guys are playing. Brooks Koepka's there at 1 under par. Jordan Spieth, there's the guy who won the career Grand Slam, played a great round of golf yesterday, a couple of bogeys late to be at 1 under par, but watch out for him. See what he does when he comes back out. But he drove the ball extremely well, only missed 2 fairways and 2 greens in regulation. And watch out for Jordan Spieth.
Anyone can win and it can be a great story. There are several guys who have a chance to write golf history now. Rory does every time he steps in on a major, and obviously he had a very pithy analysis of his opening round and by connection, his championship chances. But getting a 7th major for Rory and matching Arnold Palmer and just climbing that all-time list where you're top 20 golfer all time, your top 10, your top 5. My gosh, he's got history sitting right in front of him. You mentioned Spieth. Scheffler also climbing the list, not quite as far up the list, but also climbing the list. Those 3 guys have a chance to write golf history. Is there anybody in that way, or everybody else is more like an individual story?
Well, I mean, as far as golf history is concerned, I guess the next big one is to get another career Grand Slam winner.
Right.
Excuse me. And so you'd mentioned Spieth, which could do it this week. You'd mentioned Scotty, which could do it at the U.S. Open. If Jon Rahm were to go on to win today, or win this week, PK, then he could go to the British Open with a chance to get the career Grand Slam, because he's already won 2. He's won the Masters and the U.S. Open. So there's a lot happening, and we're getting into an era of golfers that just have an opportunity to make history. And it's really, really cool to see. Xander Schauffele's another one that's clipped 2 off. He needs to win a Masters and a U.S. Open as well. But having not won the Masters this year, then he's going to have to wait till the next time around or in the future. So I think that's the next milestone that you have to look at as far as history is concerned. And it's pretty cool to see that we've got so many that are going to have the opportunity.
You talked about the live guys in the past, that they're not getting their game sharpened by playing enough elite competition every single time they go out. So there are multiple guys with live backgrounds now. There's Jon Rahm, who's still on the live tour, who was 1 under in the opening round. What did you think of what you saw out of his game? And then there's somebody like Brooks Koepka, who's also 1 under, who was on live. Has he been back on the PGA Tour long enough? Do you think he's sharpening his game? What do you think of those guys?
Well, Koepka, let's start there. Koepka is a phenomenal player. He's won 3 PGAs, a couple U.S. Opens. And, absolutely. He's a phenomenal player. And, I think he's getting his feet underneath him as far as the PGA Tour is concerned. His last event was the opposite field event last week on the PGA Tour, and he shot 64 in the 3rd round. And he said he's beginning to have the most fun he's had in a long, long time playing golf. So I think, Koepka yesterday with a 1 under par round, he missed a lot of putts for birdies, and a lot of putts that are makeable, inside 15 feet. And unfortunately, he couldn't quite get those in the hole, or else he could possibly be right up there in the lead. So, I think he's going to play well this week. I think he's going to have a good opportunity. Now, Rahm, on the other hand, he's played well a couple times this year on live. I think he's won a couple times. And the thing you have to look at live is the golf courses and the competition are not very good. So he's playing against a slim field of 50 something players, and he's playing on courses that are really not that difficult, and the way they're set up. So it's not bringing out the best in him. But yesterday he holds it for a wedge shot for an eagle, chips in for a birdie, and makes a birdie on the final hole, and gets himself from 2 over par or 3 over par right back into the mix, and 1 under par on the round. So it will remain to be seen what he's able to do the rest of the week, especially today with the cut coming up at +2 right now. That's what it's looking like, but I think it will go higher. I think it could go 3 or 4. Then you got guys like Bryson, who shot 6 over par, that's going to have to probably shoot 3 under par today. Rory's probably going to have to shoot a couple under par today to get back in the mix and hopefully make the cut and be able to play on the weekend. And then anything can happen. But the golf course is set up. The guys it's funny thing is, guys at the beginning of the week were saying 15, 20 under par is going to win this golf tournament. And Kerry Haig, who's the setup guy for the PGA of America, he said, well, okay, we'll see if that's going to happen, because I'm going to start sticking flags in places where it's not going to be easy to get the ball close to the hole to make a bunch of birdies. And that's what he did in the first round. It looks like that's what's happened in the second round as well.
Typically, the guys who go off in the morning have an advantage over guys in the afternoon, because most places, most golf courses, there's a better chance of wind in the afternoon, and that's the hardest thing for people to deal with.
Yeah, and moisture in the golf course too.
And then so I was looking at some of the guys you mentioned, DeChambeau at 6 over and Rory at 4, and there's some other big names that could miss the cut here. Lots of familiar names, lots of guys, Wyndham Clark and Adam Scott, and people know all these names. These guys have been out there. Victor Hovland. I mean, there's tons of guys, right? And I thought, well, these guys with these later tee times are in trouble. They didn't capitalize when they had the best chance, but you're saying the wind is already up this morning. So do these guys have a better chance in your mind?
Well, the guys in the afternoon are going to see what, there's a lot that can happen. Guys, a lot of times will look and see where flags are based on the pin sheet. The pin sheets sent out the night before, and guys will look at the pin sheet, but they'll look and see what's going on the broadcast. They'll see how putts are breaking on the broadcast from certain positions. And so that they can have an idea of what's going on. So I think it will help those guys, but if the wind stays up, it's going to dry it out. And the thing that's really crazy is on the weekend, the weather's going to get into the 80s and it's going to be sunny. So it's going to be really, really difficult with the conditions and the greens. The greens are what keeps this golf course. If they've got the greens fast, if they've got the pins tucked, that kind of thing, that's what is going to make this golf course difficult and what's going to keep the scores down. Otherwise, they have a chance to shoot in the low 60s, and which was proven in 2018. A couple of guys shot 62s and 61s on this golf course, but those aren't out there this week.
Well, Bob, that leads me right into my question. I just been waiting, and I finally got the opportunity, and I'm going to ask an awesome question that is stat-filled with golf. How about this? 127 three putts in round one. DJ, guess how many three putts there were in all of the Masters?
127.
190.
Dang
so
it.
127 three putts yesterday, 190 in all 4 rounds by everybody at the Masters. And that explains, I guess, how fast the greens were yesterday. Right?
We're having some technical difficulties connecting you to Bob. So, Bob, 127 three putts yesterday. 190. What was the number, PK?
190 in all.
190 in the
Masters.
entire Masters. Explain this and predict for me what's going to happen going forwards. And this impacts what you go back to that previous question about how somebody's going to get to 15 or 20 under. Oh, not with all those three putts. They're not.
It's not going to be that. No, it's not going to be that. I would say it would probably be somewhere between 10 and 12 if we're lucky. If the conditions stay dry and the greens get firm and fast, as well as the fairways, then you're going to see maybe 10 under par. 10 to 12 under par. That's what the head pro called earlier in the week. But these greens are very reminiscent to Augusta National. They have a lot of slope, a lot of undulation in them from back to front, but they are bigger. And because they are bigger, they can tuck them in places behind bunkers, also on flat areas on the crest of ridges. They're doing a phenomenal job in keeping these guys on their toes, they're walking on ice, so to speak, with the greens. And so that's the biggest thing that's going to keep scores down is firm, fast greens and being able to tuck the flags and put them in places where guys can't get to them as well.
Did you like that DeChambeau putt where he's up on that ridge and he just barely taps to get off the ridge and then it rolls like, I don't know what it was, 50, 70 feet, whatever it was, past the hole?
Yeah, that was number 11 yesterday.
Yeah, is that good for the sport? I mean, on the one hand, you say, hey, you got to control your irons going in there. You can't be above the hole.
That's right.
But on the other hand, there is a certain amount of, what are we at a, pitch and putt with the AstroTurf and the 4-year-old birthday party? I mean, what are we doing?
Well, again, you've got to control your ball. You've got to keep the ball underneath the hole. If you get above the hole on this golf course, you're going to have a difficult time keeping putts close to the hole so that you can either make it or so that you can either, get a 2-putt. Unfortunately, he was just off the back edge of the green. He hit it too aggressively coming into that flag. And because that flag was on a flat area, kind of up on a little bit of a ridge, and he got above the hole, he just barely got it on, and it went, like you said, 50, 60, 70 feet below. You'll see guys putting it off the green this week and down away on that same hole. Saw it happen a couple times yesterday. But that's just the nature of the beast with this golf course in the greens. And, it's a Donald Ross design, and it's a beautiful golf course. And the guys are going to have a test. It's going to be great to watch.
Bob, we'll leave it right there. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the golf all weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday, and we'll see if any of us got the winner right.
You got it.
All right. Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, joining us. DJ and PK. Pablo Mastroeni's coming up at the top of the hour. Stay with us. Yak is still trying to chase down David Locke. We'll see how that works out. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
They've been doing it for a while.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Covering the Jazz for the Deseret News, she's our good friend Sarah Todd.
Sarah, you were in the draft lottery room. How would you compare this year to what you'd seen in the previous 3?
This year, it felt like there was a lot riding on, and there's going to be lottery reform after this year. So it was like the teams who tank this year, this might be the last year where you can really tank hard and give yourself the best odds at getting a high pick. When the Jazz are announced that the combination for the second draw, Austin Ainge, he does the Tiger Woods fist bump, and he says, yes. It was just so nice to see emotion. And the third combination that was drawn was also Utah. And so that gets discarded, but it was just like punctuation. Like all the work we did gave us the best odds, so much so that the second and third combinations were drawn for us. We get a high pick. We did it.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
DJ and PK, if you're looking for info on the PGA Championship, Bob Casper and Brian Taylor are on the air all day, every show here on The Zone. And also, you can get them on YouTube, as all of our shows are podcast and posted to YouTube and KSLSports.com. Bob Casper and Brian Taylor's appearances are brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountain Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoobs Vision, and Uinta Golf. PK, you put up a question on our Facebook page. It's been a full week now. You've had time to absorb it. The weekend is here, but can you still believe the Jazz didn't get screwed in the lottery? And Ricky says, as the great Egyptian pharaoh once said, let it be written, let it be done. So I guess that's Ricky. It sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit from somewhere. Ricky he finally has accepted it, and now he is ready for greatness. He is ready for a great draft pick. It may have taken a minute for Ricky to let it all sink in, but he's absorbed it. Way to go, Ricky. Costa, meanwhile, stays way down on the Jazz. Oh, I can't wait for the next 25 to 30 win season. Why are people like that? I find that so. I mean, if you want to be frustrated by the way last 4 years have at it. If you don't like the trades, okay, that's your opinion. Fine, don't like the trades. But why do you think next year is just going to completely suck? I suppose it could because injuries gut teams every year. So, but why not? The Jazz, 1 out of the 30, maybe it's them. But doesn't everything on this team just scream they have a lot more talent? Even last season, 22 wins. They could have easily been 32. We all watch them dump games against terrible teams on purpose. I don't see why anyone goes into next season thinking 25 to 30. There isn't one national person who's going to pick that. You have to be a Jazz fan who's mad and angry and frustrated to go that low. That's crazy to me.
I think that depending on how old you are, there's a perception that the league isn't interested in having Salt Lake City, Utah being the center of the league at any point, even if it's just for a series, and that everything is slanted against them. And you can see why they think that, because the Lakers have been on top, been in the finals for so many times. There was a time that they were in literally half the finals. Now it's been a little bit, so it's probably been skewed a little lower than that. And the Celtics find ways to get back and all that stuff. And so Miami, because of the South Beach and whatnot, we don't have any of that. And so you can see where if you have a deep scar, do deep scars really heal, or do you just find a way to deal with them? Now I'm getting pretty philosophical in life, but I think if you just take it from a sports standpoint, depending on how old you are, I can see what they're thinking. And there might be other people that go, wait a second, you want me to believe in this management who's done nothing but literally lose, and deliberately they had 2 guys that were all-stars and they said, no, this is not what we want. We'd rather have this. Even though this is the great unknown, we've got something over here with Mitchell and Gobert that we know can be competitive. Even if they fall short, they can still be competitive. And maybe we could have built upon that. But they said, nope, this isn't what we want. We'd rather go through this brutal process, knowing that it is even less of a guarantee to be competitive versus what we already have. You combine those 2 different factors, and you end up with a lot of cynicism.
I get that, but Oklahoma City's the defending champs, and San Antonio got picks 1, 2, and 4 and built a good team.
They're not the Jazz.
Let's bring David Locke in, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
In the deserts of Arizona, they're laden with the saguaro cactus that lasts for 150 to 200 years. They don't grow arms until they're perfectly strong enough to be able to do so. They can hold 300 gallons of water at one time on a storm. They grow a little bit similar to the level of DJ and PK. DJ and PK started as small little hidden under trees for protectiveness, and then grew into themselves into staples that may last 150 to 200 years on the airwaves of Salt Lake City. And from the looks of them, they can hold 300 gallons of water at a time. Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
I love cactus, man. That's my homeland right there. There's only one place in the U.S. where you can get those saguaros, and that is from Phoenix South. No other place in the country.
Well, that might be exactly where I'm sitting while I talk to you.
I remember a little kid, family vacation. We drove from San Diego to Arizona. We went to the Grand Canyon. We went to Sedona, and driving. I can still remember being on the road and looking at it like, whoa, what is that? And then the parents explaining pretty much everything David did, but not quite the way David did. I don't remember the 300 pounds of water. But it was an easy topic of conversation for 30 or 40 miles to kill some time with little kids. We were all, oh, that is so weird. It was great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Especially with you can't go and take them out of the desert. You have to have a sticker on the bottom, and you can receive a fine. It is against the law. They are protected that much.
Yes. Aware of these items, not with no problem to it, but am aware of such rules.
Yeah. David,
now,
you've had a week.
The amount of rattlesnakes, Gila monsters, and moths, and everything else that comes in this desert also seems to be a little excessive.
Yeah, pronounced Gila, not Gila, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry. I saw my first Gila monster ever yesterday. These are the things you really wanted to know.
No, we really wanted to know. Now that you've had a week to absorb the draft, have you finally just like, wow, it happened. All right.
Who's going to be the Jazz Gila monster?
Yeah, right. I actually did, David. I did exactly that. Like, freaked out on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of still freaked out on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, like went into pure analysis mode. Like, let me watch all of them. And then like yesterday, woke up and was like, holy crap! We get to choose. Like, we get one of these guys.
Yep.
Like, they're not perfect. I feel like they were portrayed to be perfect all season long. I think they're really, really good. This draft's going to be good. I don't actually, not entirely sure it's not just going to be like every other draft that's ever existed, right? There's going to be, of the top 10, there's going to be a bust, and there's going to be 7 really good players, and there's going to be 3 all-stars and 1 superstar. Like, I'm not as convinced as everyone else that this is like the 1980, like they opened the lottery with like, it's going to be like the 1986 draft. I was like, okay, let's, I feel like we're hyping it a little bit. I actually think I'm not sure. I will say this. I'm not sure we've ever had a combination of 2 years back to back where this much talent's going to be infused in the league and this much high level talent. Because I actually think last year's draft is going to turn out to be, now that we have a year of data, be the one that really these guys were incredible. And even like just, seeing Carter Bryant play for the Spurs in the playoffs, like that's pretty unusual. The 13th, 14th pick is playing in playoff basketball right now. So I think, it's incredible, absolutely incredible that we get to add this talent. And really, if you just get to kind of DJ's or PK's point, which is, the cynicism of like, hey, we had these 2 guys and we've moved from it. The rebuild felt like it was just on perpetual, like, treadmill, right? Like you were just going forever. Yeah. You saw no end in sight. And now you take from the Keontae George emergence to the Jaren Jackson trade to the lottery success, and all of a sudden the rebuild looks like it was like done perfectly. Like it's an incredible 9 months for Jazz basketball, because I'm like, I was sitting there like everybody else going like, when does this end? And how do we ever get enough players? And oh my gosh, are we about to be bad for 20 years? And then if you had been and lottery reform, this could have been really ugly. And instead, the last 9 months with, Keontae, if you redraft that draft with Keontae, I think he's 3rd or 4th in that draft now, right? He's probably ahead of the Thompson twins. And so you suddenly have that. You have the emergence of the brilliant trade for Jaren Jackson and the lottery luck. And this thing lined up. All of a sudden, it's like, let's go. And frankly, the Lowry and Jarrett are overpaid a tiny bit, but the salaries line up pretty darn well too for this thing to go for a long time. So it's pretty incredible where we sit right now.
For discussion's sake, I'm not saying the Jazz want to or will do, but just follow me and just say they will. Yeah. What is the point? Why would they trade up to get AJ?
Because you think he's going to be one of the top 8 players in the NBA. It's really simple. It has absolutely nothing to do with whether he wants to stay in Utah or whether he wants to go to BYU. If those are the reasons we're doing it, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Because if we can't run this franchise with Ryan Smith at the helm and everything we're trying to do, Ryan and Ashley Smith at the helm, and believe in ourselves enough that we can build a place the players want to stay, and we can only find this one unicorn that might want to stay. And I'm not sure I even buy that story. If we can't run a franchise like not in fear, we might as well. You can't run a business in fear. You can't run a franchise in fear. So if that's really what we're doing, then forget about it. The reason you trade up for AJ DeBonsa, or the reason you trade up for Darren Peterson, by the way, like I've watched Darren Peterson. I might trade up for Darren Peterson. Like, very quietly, could you imagine that? We trade up for one and go take Darren Peterson? I don't think that's crazy either. If you know he's all right with everything else, 6'6" guard who can score like that and move like that, and if you think his shot's okay, like he's got a little twist to it and you think you can fix that, like, oh, God, like that's real. So you trade for either of these two players if you believe they're a top 8 or 10 player in the NBA in 3 or 4 years. If you believe they're Cade Cunningham, if you believe they're Luka Doncic, if you believe they're, Giannis and on time for flights, if you believe they're, you guys, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like if you believe if it's one of those players who's going to be in the MVP conversation at for 5 to 10 years, you trade everything for them. Right? Like let's go back to the show we did together where you said, what would you trade for Luka? And I was like, every single thing on our entire roster and every draft pick. And if you can get one of those players, it's not like a linear scale, by the way, of like pretty good to really good to great to like superstar. It's like a hockey stick of value. And so if you believe that any of the kids in this draft are that much different than the rest and going to be a top 10 player, 8 player in the NBA, you should trade the world for them.
I love the hockey stick analogy because good to very good to great, while true, doesn't completely capture the value of going from good to great, right? There are some really good number one. Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham are really good players. Now, they may both go out of the playoffs this weekend, so there's that. Victor Wembanyama, holy cow. It's not if he's going to win a championship, it's a win, isn't it?
Oh, or if he's going to win 10.
Yes, right. And as soon as he gets the one, then what's the final number going to be? Because it's going to be multiple, right?
When San Antonio loses to Oklahoma City in the playoffs this year, if they do, the next question that should be asked is, when is the next playoff series Victor Wembanyama loses?
Yeah.
Because it might be like 4 years. So I think even in the hockey stick analogy, we actually have Victor Wembanyama might just be something different than the rest of the hockey stick. But I think Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham are on that hockey stick part of it. Like if you can get Anthony Edwards or Cade Cunningham in this draft,
you better.
And you go. I don't care what you give up. Like if we give up all 5 of our next future draft picks, like that's when it's worth it. Like, but you got to know, that's the reason you would trade for AJ DeBonsa. But I got to be honest. And now it's really hard. These scouts are really good because actually, if you watched Anthony Edwards out of Georgia, it was like you saw this incredible running back inside of a basketball body, and you were like wondering, and his skills have really accelerated. So it's not all, and you watch Cade Cunningham and you were super worried about whether he was actually athletic enough around the rim. He wasn't particularly athletic at Oklahoma State around the rim, and he actually wasn't in the NBA for his first few years. So there's really an incredible growth progression that takes place amongst these players while they're in the NBA. And so I watch AJ DeBonsa and I watch Darren Peterson and I watch Cameron Boozer right now, and I see these things and I'm like, gosh, but obviously they're going to evolve and get way better when they're actually allowed to play basketball every minute of every day and have daily scouting and daily coaching and daily everything else. So it's hard to figure out whether or not the players I'm watching right now are not Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards, but that's not who they're going to be in 3 to 4 years.
I will tell you when Wembanyama loses his next series, and that'll be in 2 years, and it'll be against the wonderful backcourt. It's a Wonderful Life of George Bailey and the greatest front line since Bird, McHale, Parrish, and Walton, being Kessler, Jaren Jackson, Larry Markin, and AJ DeBonsa, 27-28 in the spring of 28. That's when it will happen. Mark my words.
Well, it's enough size to maybe do it. Might need somebody on that roster to be a defensive first player, but I'm with you. Like, let's go for it. Like, it's enough size to do it. You guys watch AJ much more than me. And I'm watching him now for the first time. So I had 3 takeaways, and I want your guys' thoughts. So obviously the body and the fluidity is incredible. The handle for his size is awesome. There is zero space on the floor for him to ever go anywhere. So it's hard for me to evaluate.
And yet he did it anyway. But go ahead.
Yeah. And then the off the bounce 3 and the catch and shoot 3 really look poor.
And there it is.
And he knows it.
And that's
he's got to improve the 3-point shooting. You're right. He's got to.
You really can't be without that shot. You're Paulo Banchero, and Paulo Banchero can score a lot of points and do a lot of stuff, but it's not working in Orlando.
It won't work when you get to the playoffs. In the playoffs,
it won't work in the regular season either. Actually,
I guess we can debate that. But since you want it to work in the playoffs and you're drafting for the playoffs, that's the whole point right now. Anyway, I think there might be ways to finesse it in the regular season a little bit. But to your point, you want to spread the floor and create the lanes for you and all your teammates to drive. You want to have that quote-unquote gravity, and he's not good enough right now. But if he did have that, then he'd be talked about as a slam dunk number 1, and there'd be absolutely no chance that, A, you could trade for him, or B, he would fall to number 2.
Yep.
If he had that, he's number 1, they're taking him, and don't call me, I'll call you as far as the trade proposals.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say why I say it will. Why it doesn't work in the regular season also. If you're a non-shooter in that manner, you have to have the ball in your hands all the time. And that's what happens to Orlando, is that Banchero is really, really good, but if they give the ball to Franz Wagner or they give the ball to Desmond Bane or they give the ball to Jalen Suggs, all good players, and Banchero's on the floor, no one's guarding Banchero. Because they don't care if he kicks, catch, and shoot 3. And they know they have enough time to get back to him. And so it clogs up the entire rest of the offense. And that's why Orlando's 22nd in the league offensively every year. So that's why I make that comment, that it's a big deal. By the way, I think both these kids are obviously there's Darren Peterson off-court issues with the, what's going on with his body or whether it was physical or not. Issues that are real, figured out. But I got to say, some of his fluidity and movement and things like that. And then I'm looking at the NBA right now, and Jalen Brunson's dominating a series, and Donovan's dominating a series some of the time, and Cade Cunningham's dominating a series some of the time, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's dominating a series. And I actually begin to wonder whether, for the first time ever, I'm looking at 6'9" versus 6'6", and I'm like, well, maybe I want 6'6".
Well,
maybe I want the pure handle guard more than I want the 6'9" big wing. If you even go back to last year when I watched Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, my very first reaction was I thought Bailey was 6'10" at the time. But I was like, wait, why would I possibly take 6'3" instead of 6'10"? And watching the NBA right now, I'm actually beginning to wonder if 6'6" ball handling guard is actually is a more important prototype than archetype, or whatever you want to call it, player than the 6'9" wing. But it depends. If he becomes Luka, then you're fine. But
right, Boston's ridden those wings to a lot of success, and all the guys you mentioned they're good. But back to the hockey stick, let's add up all of their conference finals, all of their NBA finals, and all of their titles, because the Jazz are trying to win a title, but they certainly want to open the championship window and get to the Final Four. Now, maybe if it's horses for courses, right? Hey, if this is who Wembanyama is, build a team that is the Spurs' kryptonite, because that's who you're going to have to beat. And so maybe there's some logic.
I have no idea. I have
what
no
that is.
idea what. It might be a team that has to take 73s, actually.
Because he can't block every 3-point shooter, right?
He just takes away half the court. If you watch the game and understand what's supposed to be happening and where passes are supposed to go and where guys' routes are supposed to be, he literally within 5 seconds to 7 seconds of every possession ruins what the other team is doing and what their natural movements are supposed to be with his presence. It's incredible.
So then the question is a matter of degrees. It isn't not just this player they pick, can they shoot the 3, but to what degree? Banchero, who we'll just use the example because you brought him up, that dude's shooting, I don't know, what is he shooting, David? 30, 32%? 31?
Yeah, 31.
So now, what if you have a guy who shoots 35, 36, 37? Or you got to go, you're not going to find Steph Curry shooting 45, but is somebody in this group going to shoot 40% from 3?
Well, the fascinating one is if you look at their college numbers, okay, the fascinating one is if you actually dig into Peterson, his above the break and his angle right on threes are both 29%. He's good angle left. And, who knows, like, I don't know if those breakdowns really matter. The one of the guys we've talked about, the guy who's the best three-point shooter by far is Cameron Boozer. And what gets interesting to me on Cameron Boozer is if you look at the handoff bigs in the NBA, this is getting pretty esoterically narrow, but the players in the NBA, the bigs that play handoff are all non-shooters. Almost all of them are non-shooters. Jokic kind of in the middle. But they're Ishoi Gudaro and, just bigs who don't shoot. They play a handoff game. Domantas Sabonis, Alfred Sengun. The one big that plays the handoff game that can shoot is Karl Anthony Towns, and he's far and away the best in the NBA at it. If you can play the handoff game with a big that can shoot, you might have a top 5 offense automatically.
If you're building to beat a team, if the Angels even buy into that, but if they do buy into that and you're building to beat a team, the knock on Boozer is, well, he's not that athletic. He can't elevate around the rim. Well, if it's impossible to jump over Victor Wembanyama anyway, what does it matter?
Right.
What is it? Why obsess about that? No one's dunking over the 7'4" guy. Show me the big guy who can score with both hands, who can shoot the three, who's a good teammate, who's a decent passer of the ball, seems to have a winning attitude, judging by the winning he's done at various levels on the way to this point.
It's a very good point. Like, if you're going to beat Victor Wembanyama, you probably need to have – it's what Jokic does to him. You're going to have your big be the nucleus of the offense, and you're going to probably have to play a pick-and-roll handoff game where he's dropping the way Gobert does, and it's opening up an off-the-bounce three for somebody, and your big is going to have to pop to either keep him away from the basket or to get him there. And you're at that point there, San Antonio's counter will be that Victor no longer guards your big and is now guarding somebody else on the floor, in which case now you have to have 5 shooters on the floor. So you have to make sure that whatever player they move Victor off of your big because your big can pop can hit the three that he's going to have to give up to protect the rim. That's so if you're building this thing to try to beat the Spurs, you bring up a great point. Cameron Boozer might be the one you're talking about here.
David, we got to leave it right there for now. We love having you on. Go back to contemplating the cactus. Stay away from the rattlesnakes for sure. I don't know about the Gila monsters or the Gila monsters. I would have mispronounced it too because we didn't have them in San Diego. But I know about the rattlesnakes. Steer clear.
I will. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, David. David Locke joining us. DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, top of the hour. Oh, boy. Thunderbird High segment coming up. Pablo Mastroeni on the horizon. 23rd best payroll, 6th best record in the league. How are they doing it? We'll talk with Pablo coming up at 9 o'clock. DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Join Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, today from 10 to 2. They're at Tim Dahle Mazda, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive in Sandy. PK, David Locke always throws out a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to chew on and to think about there. What are you chewing on? What are you thinking about? I got to say, we didn't talk about Lauri Markkanen, but he got me thinking about Lauri Markkanen.
Why?
I just have this nagging feeling that Markkanen, having been paid $50 million, that's star-type money. And he just doesn't strike me as someone who is going to be the star on a championship team. He doesn't carry himself with that kind of alpha dog type leadership that we're used to seeing. That just, I don't know if Edwards is good enough or not, but he does seem to have like the moxie and the energy and the kind of stuff you want to see. But what Lauri Markkanen does have is a remarkable skill set. And maybe what he is, the best version of him is not the alpha big dog, I'm the guy, right? but he is an elite role player. Now, he's not being paid like an elite role player. An elite role player, like Derek White in Boston, in my mind, is an elite role player. He'll never be a star. If he's your second best player, you're not good enough. But he's an elite role player. But they have to be paid a smaller percentage of the cap. Now, the cap's going up, so you got to figure it out on a percentage basis here. Right now, that means paying somebody like that $20, $25 million, maybe $30. Well, Lowry's making $50. Right? And maybe we'll say the same thing about Jackson. We need to see him more. And he hasn't been a great rebounder at $50 million and a 7-footer. Probably needs you to be a great rebounder. You brought up that power line in Boston that won multiple championships. Yeah, they had great rebounders. You get more possessions, you get more shots, you score more points. The other guys get fewer possessions because you get the rebound. They score fewer points. It's a massive advantage to build in. And so I just wonder if the financial, as much as everybody wants the Jazz to accelerate, I wonder if those salaries, and I don't know that the guys will take cuts, and we're getting 3 years out, we're trying to project, but Lowry Markkanen at 7 feet, who's lethal on a catch-and-shoot three-pointer. If you got to beat Victor Wembanyama, yeah, okay, here's a 7-footer, guard him, but you got to guard him 25 feet from the hoop, and you got to respect him every possession, whether he even shoots or not, whether he even gets the ball or not. You can't leave him. They're going to need, whoever beats Wembanyama in the NBA is going to need players like that. Those players are going to be at a premium. Now, you got to have them, and you got to have them at the right price. And I doubt that $50 million is the right price. To what degree it's off, we'll get a better idea of this coming season. Is it off by $10 million or $15 million? Or I don't know. We'll figure that out. But thinking about how you're going to beat Wembanyama, because he's coming. I mean, they're not going away. That doesn't mean they're going to win it all the time, but you're going to have to be able to beat them. You're fond of saying you can't backdoor your way to a title. I don't know how many times you're going to get to backdoor your way around the Spurs. If you want to win it, you've got to beat the Spurs. Best 4 out of 7. Stop you laughing over there. When we come back, Thunderbird High School, Pablo Mastroni, RSL, one of the better teams in the league with one of the lower payrolls. We'll talk with him about that next. Stay with us.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.